All right. Let's get started with today. Yeah. So today we're just gonna do another talk. We're gonna talk about it. And hopefully that's why you're here. Yeah. Anyways, good evening, guys. I don't know if you can tell, I'm just full of a lot of emotion today. So like good day, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good whatever space you are in and watching this video. I hope that you are doing well. I hope that you are being very blessed. I hope that life is treating you well. I'm hoping that you are getting everything that you deserve and that you desire. Let's get to it today. My energy is a little off today. I am a little off today. And so like kind of, okay, not really in a bad way, but in a very overwhelming way. So a lot has been happening and very fast. And not that I don't want these things to happen, but again, they're happening very fast. And I am entering in new territory. See, I'm already rambling. We just started and I'm already rambling. Let's talk about our topic today. Wow, that seems like a, well, duh, what is happening? Like, you do what makes you happy type of thing. One thing I'm realizing on this journey is, for a long time, I don't think I was doing what, no, scratch that. For a long time, I wasn't doing what was making me happy. I was doing what I thought would make me happy. I was doing what other people thought would make me happy. I was trying to achieve the goals and things that would make the people around me like, ooh, she doing it. But not necessarily looking at those goals and aspirations as whether or not they will make me happy, if that makes any sense. And if it doesn't, hang on just a little bit longer. I'll keep talking. I'll come back around to it. If you're new to this channel, I eventually round to my point. But anyway, so the last couple, so let's rewind a little bit. We always got to do a rewind. Backstory time. So let's go back to, we're not going to go back to the beginning of my life because this is just a trait that I've always carried within myself. And apparently it's a survival tactic to deal with the pushback and drama and overwhelming negativity I would receive from the environment and people around me growing up. I developed a survival tactic, which was doing what the people around me wanted me to do so that they would like me, they would love me, they would want to talk to me, they would want to be around me. And I guess for a long time that would work, more so in their benefit than my own. But it is something that kept me in the middle. It was something that kept me like kind of flying under the radar. People still abused me. They had no problem abusing me mentally, physically, emotionally. And I allowed it because I wanted people in my life. This being church people, this being family, sometimes that crossed. But I've always dealt with abandonment issues. I've always dealt with feeling abandoned by people, and I don't like that feeling. I still, at the age of 34, still have to work through my abandonment issues. I know it's something that I struggle with a lot in therapy, and I'm always saying like, this is something I should be over. I shouldn't be dealing with this. And my therapist always is kind of like, yeah, I see what you're saying, but I don't see what you're saying. Like, this isn't really something that I flick off, because it's something that you developed over time to survive the environment that you were in. And it's something that no longer serves me. So now I am getting out of being a people pleaser, because pretty much that's what I was. I was a people pleaser. If someone asked me to do something, no matter how strenuous it was to me, I would do it because I would want to make the other person happy. One of the prime examples, there are many, but one to kind of gauge the seriousness of my people pleasing was I had my second baby in 2017 via C-section. And if you have had a C-section, if you've had any major surgery, you know that it takes time to heal. You know that if you don't do the things that you're supposed to do, you can seriously injure yourself. You can put yourself through a lot of pain. Well, I had just had a C-section July 1st of 2017, and I was breastfeeding my baby. And I used to love to do hair. I would do hair all the time. I've quit doing hair because it triggers me into feeling used and abused, because that's what people would do to me. People don't understand that. I always get requests like, when are you gonna have time to do this? It's like, even if I do have the time to do it, I don't want to do it. There are times I do get the urge to do it, but I kind of sweat that urge back down, because like, as soon as I start, I'm going to have to keep doing it, because people are not going to understand, well, you wanted to do it last week, why don't you want to do it this week? Anyway, so because I am good at hair, that was one of the tools that I would use to people please people. So I had just had my baby via C-section. I was breastfeeding. He was, he wasn't even a month. I think I had, because I remember still bleeding after this C-section. So it was maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And there was this cousin I had who kept asking me to do her hair. She was just like, let me do your, when are you going to be able, like, when are you going to be back doing your hair? I need my hair. You know, you're the only one who does hair, blah, 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 the way I like it. It wasn't so much that she liked the way that I did hair. She liked how she could get over on me price wise. And because I wanted people to come to me, because I love doing hair so much, I love making people feel beautiful. I knew I was good at what I did. And I knew that if I lowballed myself, people would be like, oh, I guess that's a good price. And they would come to me. And they did. I charged this girl $35 to do box braids. That took me 9 hours to do. Now, I haven't even paid myself minimum wage at this point. That's how ridiculous I was. To get box braids now where I live, basically anywhere, even at that time, and this was, so Mandy's now 4, so this was almost 5 years ago. Even at that time, $35 was crackhead prices. Like, you know what I mean? Like, these were still in TV prices. So she knew that, which is why she kept coming to me. I knew that, which is why I kept charging it, because I knew that's why she kept coming to me. But I stood up for the whole 8.5, 9 hours, breastfeeding my baby, only stopping to breastfeed my baby while standing up, because I was in so much pain I couldn't sit down. And I don't know if you, like if you've had a baby and you've had a C-section, when you, period, when you breastfeed, the uterus contracts. When you have a C-section and the uterus contracts, that shit is painful. Like, it hurts. But I did it because I wanted to please her. And at the end, she still gypped me $5 because she only brought $30. So for 9 hours of work, I got paid $30. All for her to get up out of the chair. Oh, girl, you did this. Oh, you did this. Oh, I'm gonna just tell everybody. And I remember when she left, I cried and cried and cried because I was in so much pain. I was so mentally exhausted. I just kept thinking, why do you keep doing this to yourself? Like, if people don't come to you, then that's their loss. But I didn't look at it as their loss then. I looked at it as, they don't like me if they don't come to me, if they don't pay the prices that. But that is just like one example of the many examples of the extent of my people pleasing. And that is something that I have hence gotten out of. I don't do that anymore. Not to that extent. Sometimes I do still find myself, especially in a work environment, pushing myself extra hard so that I can get that, hey, good job. You did great. We appreciate the job that you did, just to be shown recognition. I'm working. So that's a little bit of background about myself. No longer in that place, as I said before. Working on it, moving on it, doing better, being better. We on bigger and better things. But dealing with the, going through this journey as I'm recently going through, there is a lot of things that is happening for us, to us, with us, and me and my husband had to have a sit down conversation and talk about, what does happiness mean to us? What does that mean? What does that look like to us? And after figuring out what that looks like to us, okay, so now what do we need to do as this unit, as us, to move on and find that happiness, or, and achieve that happiness is what I'll say. Not find it, it's not lost. We are happy. So how do we continue this journey and go on and achieve this happiness? Let me tell you, along with that, I've realized that I am in a different space than I've ever been in my life. I'm in a space of where my decisions are strictly my own. That's in the background. My decisions are strictly my own. The decisions about our family strictly come from me and my husband. The decisions in our family and about our family are ones that we have to sit down, decide for ourselves what would work for us, and then achieving them. And putting that plan into play. Y'all, I don't know if you have personally ever been here, but it's different for me. It's really different. And it's really scary. I have been going through life on kind of an autopilot for so long that finding out what made me happy or what makes me happy is weird. Like, to have to sit down and be like, okay, what are the goals that I want to achieve that will make me happy? Like, not even thinking about people on the outside and how proud of me they will be, how proud of me they would be if I achieve these goals. No. Don't think about them. They ain't got nothing to do with this. What will, at the end of the day, when you sit down on your bed and you think about your life, you think about that day, you're just like, thank you. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, ancestors. Thank you, universe, for providing this life for me. What does that life look like? Y'all, that has raised some very interesting conversations in my household. I'll touch on my marriage for a little bit. Won't dive too deep into it because I don't have the other half here and to tell his side of the story. But me and my husband recently, so let's talk about marriage. What does happiness look like to us in our marriage? Again, I can only speak a little bit about my perspective because the other half isn't here. But so a couple weeks ago, me and my husband went through a little bit of a situation, and we'll get to that situation because I do want to get him on camera to talk about this, because I feel like it's a very wonderful, transparent moment, especially for young people who are married, who's living a life in a marriage that they're following what they feel people think they should do, if that makes any sense. Anyways, a couple weeks ago, me and my husband went through a situation, and in this situation, it triggered a lot for me. But the result of that situation had me reacting in a way of, I will not look stupid. And because I will not look stupid, I'm willing to burn this whole shit down in silence so that I don't look dumb. And to some, that was a really great big reaction. To others, that's not, it's really not that serious. Maybe that's one and the same thing, I don't know. But it had me having to sit down with my therapist and have a long, deep conversation with myself. Why was I being triggered in such a way? And I thought about it. The reason that I reacted the way that I did, to some extent, was because I didn't want people looking at me like, I knew you was that dumb bitch. You know what I mean? Like, I knew you would end up just like so and so. And that literally triggered me. Like, I will not be blah, 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 blah. Well, it caused me to have a conversation with my husband. Like, okay, so what does our marriage look like to us? We can't just keep going on in this relationship assuming the other person knows what the other person wants. And I touched on that in my last video. What are our expectations of each other? What will we allow? What will we not allow? And if you want to know what it was that happened, you'll just have to tune in for the next video. But what are our do's and don'ts? What are our yays and nays? What are our yeses and nos? We need to figure that out amongst ourselves, so that we can have the relationship that we want. It reminds me of Sex and the City, where Carrie was like, you know, you make your marriage, you make your own, it's your marriage, it's your relationship, you make your own rules. And Shirley was like, no, it's marriage. And I see both aspects of that now. Like, yeah, it's marriage, but also you can't go through your life living by the standards and the rules of other people. You, as your own individual, have your own likes, your own dislikes, your own morals, your own values, and all that other stuff. Again, get into that one, the other parts here. But that's just a rough thing. That's just, marriage part. But I realized, what would make us happy in this relationship? What would make us unhappy in this relationship? We had to talk about that. It was a tough conversation, but it was a necessary conversation. And because of that, it's making us better. And then it brought us to, we were talking about houses and new spaces and things like that. And I said before, it's 6 of us, and we are at the moment, we are in a 2-bedroom apartment, and it was working fine before we had our baby girl, because we had 3 boys. So it's just like, oh, well, they share a room. We have our own room. We have our own space. It's fine. It was, it's 5 of us. And then we have baby girl, and it's just like, she shares a room with us. And we are kind of like spilling out into the living room. We kind of just share the whole space. We don't have our own individual spaces. And if you know me, if you don't know me, also, let me just tell you, I like my own space. One of my goals in life is to live in a separate space, or a separate house, or a separate whatever from my husband. And then, of course, still be married with him because I love him and I want to be together. But I just need my own space. When my space is interrupted or disturbed, I'm disturbed. I don't like it. So that has been a lot of strain on us as well. But with that, me and my husband had the conversation yesterday. It's almost like we had to come to the conclusion, okay, so is the pressure to move so quickly, to buy a house so quickly, is it something that we really want to do? Do we want to purchase a home right now at our age? Is it a big home that we want? And if we want a big home, why do we want a big home? We want a big home because we look online and we see these people who are building their houses, and they have this and this and this, and we're just like, oh, in order to show that we're making it and that we're happy, we have to have that too. And I began to think, like, do we really want to get into like a super duper big house? Jump from renting to owning, don't know anything about owning, don't know anything. Like, do we want to take on that big purchase? And then we came to the conclusion, is it that we just want to be homeowners right now, or do we just want more space? And if it's just that we just want more space to spread out, isn't that okay? Because that's what works for us. Isn't that what will make us happy? So then after figuring out, well, maybe it's just more space that we want, What kind of space do we want? And then we got like down to the nitty gritty, like, okay, so would you be happy with this? And he's just like, well, yeah, I would be happy with it. And I was like, have you said that? I would be happy with that too. We were talking about like modular homes versus manufactured mobile homes versus a single family detached home versus townhouses versus condos. Like, I think that when you're growing up, it's embedded in you. You grow up, you get a job, you get a career, you get something stable, you get a house, you get a picket fence. Like, these are things that show that you make it. But me and my husband had to sit down and have that conversation. Like, so another thing was we were talking about mobile homes. And I remember mentioning, and my sister too. So it was my sister. Let me tell you about, I never mentioned it because I knew the stigma behind mobile homes. You were trailer park. You want to live in a trailer park? That's gross. Like, no. Do you want to be trailer trash? Like, that's gross. So we never went, but like in Ohio, mobile homes were cheap. Like, rent was cheap. You could buy a mobile home for $5,000, $10,000. Like, it was cheap. But no, you're looking at a mobile home. You get a stationary home. We don't do that. That doesn't show that you're happy. That doesn't show that you've made it. Me and my husband was looking at mobile homes, and we're just like, could we be having a mobile home? We looked the mugs up, and I was just like, yes, we could be having a mobile home. Are you kidding me? The things are beautiful, and they're spacious, and they are catered to us. Like, and they fit our price point. I have been looking at the market lately, and it's just so discouraging. It's like we work so hard. Can we afford the life that we want? Because, it's not that we want to live beyond our means, but we also want to live within our means. We want to live our luxury life within our means. And that's what we're trying to find, the happiness within that. Are we willing to settle on things? Are we not willing to settle on things? What things are we willing to settle on? What things are non-negotiable? Like, I will not compromise. This is what I want. And that's what we are right now. So I say all that to say this. I encourage you to sit down and figure out what it is that will make your soul happy. What is it? Just don't think about the people around you and how they're going to react. And whether they'll be happy, mad, sad, or whatever. Block them out. Don't even think about them, because at this point, it's not about them. This is your life. It's about you. It's about you and the people in your unit. What will make you happy? What would make you, every time you get up in the morning, smile and be satisfied with the life that you have? Not settled for the life that you have, but genuinely happy and satisfied to wake up, take a deep breath, be able to sit on the side of your bed, open your eyes, be able to sit up on the side of your bed and just say, thank you. Thank you for this life that you have allowed me to provide for me and mine. What does that look like to you? I encourage you to explore that. Now, if you're like me, you have something that is built inside of you, and it just comes from years and years and years of brainwashing, years and years of people being really great at forcing their opinion on you. I remember when I graduated from high school, and I think I said this before in one other video, but just like really quickly. When I graduated from high school, I did not want to be a nurse. I didn't. Had no desire to be a nurse. But I wanted somebody to be proud of me. I wanted somebody to look at me and be like, she made it. She's doing things. So I had my godmother worked in the health field. And I was told, you need to be a nurse. She could get you a job. You could be set. I signed up. I went to college. I did not want to go to college. I didn't know anything about college. I barely wanted to be in school. Like my senior year, I coasted. I had gotten so good at coasting in school. I would just figure when I would get our syllabus at the beginning of semesters, at the beginning of the school years, I would calculate what would take for me to get a C. Like that sounds crazy. I would calculate what I would like sit down, plan out, look, what would it take for me to get this grade? Because I have no desire to be here and I'm just going to do the bare minimum. I just want to pass and go on. Graduated with a 2.7, I think it was. That was exciting. Like it was barely above a C. I think 2.5 was a C. I was like C plus. I had a desire to go to college. I didn't want to, but I did it because it made the people around me happy. It made my mom feel like, yeah, my daughter is going to college to be a nurse. It made my godmother feel like, yeah, she's going to graduate. I'm going to get her a job. And then I would have done my part to help her in her life to be better. No one really asked me what I wanted to do. But outside of them not asking me what I wanted to do, I didn't know I had the option to sit down and be like, well, what do you want to do? What's going to make you happy? I don't want any entertainment. Are you serious? As much as y'all get on here and see me talking, don't it make sense? Right? Entertainment is where I belong. No, I'm kidding. At least talking. I would have at least been a talk show host or something. I could have been like Oprah's protege. Anyway, but yeah, I didn't think I had the option to sit down and figure out what makes me happy, which is because of that, I have this like built-in thing that whenever I go to figure out what makes me happy, whatever, I just want to sit down and be honest with myself. I kind of tense up and be like, well, that's bragging. Like that's haughtiness. That's selfish. I've always been so used to putting what I wanted aside for the better good of whatever, whether it be better good of the church, better good of my family, better good of the people around me. I've always been programmed to put what I wanted aside, especially if it didn't go with the collective. If it didn't go with the plan, then if I still wanted to do it, I was selfish. If you're spending so much time on yourself, then what about me? That's basically how the people around me was. Like, you're spending so much time on yourself. Well, how are you going to help me? How are you going to help me out of my situation? I remember one time I had a cousin, and I don't know if she'll see this, but you see it, you know exactly who you are. Because I'm calling you out. I was going through my own personal shit. I had my third child. I was going through postpartum depression like a mug. Like it was so bad. It was bad. And I had kind of like disappeared into nothingness. I was numb. I could barely be a mom. I could barely take care of myself. And the little bit that I had after taking care of my kids, I still set that aside because I didn't even want to deal with myself. It was so bad. I was just looking at pictures and videos of that time in my life. I was just kind of coasting, just existing, barely. And two incidents happened during this time. One incident happened, I wanted to give up my positions that I had at church. It was too much. And I went to the person in charge and I was like, hey, can I not do this job? And they got furious with me. Well, I don't have anybody else to do it. And I'm just like, but like, I can't do it. Like, I can't do that and this. I cannot be Sunday school teacher and try to be a mother. I cannot be local treasurer finance and still try to take care of myself. Like, I can't do these jobs. Like, I can't be Young Missionaries president. I can't do all of these jobs and do them well and still take care of myself. I can't even do them barely and still take care of myself. They were infuriated. Well, I can't find anybody else to do it. You're just going to have to do it until I can find somebody. Well, they never found anybody. I just eventually ended up quitting. Like, I've just forget it. I asked you because I wanted to be respectful. I didn't want you to leave you hanging, but now I have to leave you hanging because I don't have a choice. I literally don't want to be here. And when I say here, I mean on earth most days. And the fact that I've given my everything to you all of these years for you to not be like, let me give her a break because she asked for one, because she never asked for one, but more, what about me, made me realize, okay, no, I can't do this. Also during that time, I remember I disappeared into nothingness. I was extremely numb. I wasn't talking to anybody. The only person that really understood, who really kind of knew what I was going through, was my best friend, who was my sister. And even she was leaving me alone because I was so depressed. She just didn't know what she could do for me. She tried everything that she could. And it was just, I was having a rough time. I remember this person called themselves having my dad bring them to my house under false pretenses. Like, oh, I want to see her. And I came out there with everything I was going through within myself, pushed all that aside. Like, oh, well, she obviously needs me. She doesn't come over here unless she needs me. Get out there, and that bitch cussed me out. How dare you not ask where I've been? How dare you not see? I'm so disappointed in you. I'm so this. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, you haven't seen how I was. I've been going through something, and you usually feel me. You usually contact me. And I was like, but you didn't even ask how I was doing. And that was my fault. That was my fault. She felt so comfortable to come up to me and disrespect me in such a way in my own home, in my own place of residence, come to me with the drama because she couldn't deal with her own shit. And I was like, oh, so like people are just really used to you putting your own happiness aside. So much so that you don't even know what makes you happy anymore. Like, you don't even know what it will take to make you happy. To deal with them and their shit and to make them happy. To dance. Monkey dance for them. To be a gesture for them. These are old and young people alike. Coming to me and sucking the life out of me. They were good at it. But I allowed them to do it because I didn't stand up for myself. I didn't think about what would make me happy. No, that's where I am in my life right now. I'm doing what makes this vessel and this soul happy first. Outside of that, I'm doing what makes this unit healthy and happy first. If we are not stable, if we are not good, I cannot do. And I encourage you to do the same thing. If you're not happy within yourself, how do you teach your kids to be happy? No, how do you do that? How do I teach my children to be happy if I'm not happy myself? If I'm not doing the things that make me happy? If I'm not working on the things and goals that I want to work on and achieve? How do I then turn around and be like, you find your happiness? How do they do that? They'll be just like me, trying to figure out on their own because they had parents who didn't know what made them happy, who struggled with trying to find their own happiness, who struggled with not allowing the people around them to control them in such a way that they sent them into a deep depression. No, I cannot do anymore. So I have been on here long enough. I have rambled enough. I have gotten that out. I didn't. But I just wanted to get on here and I just wanted to encourage someone. Sit down, write it down. Talk to yourself, your family unit, the people that matter the most to you in your life, the people that you're building a foundation with, and figure out what makes us happy, what's going to make us happy, what's going to continue to make us happy. How do we put let's figure out a plan, and how do we put that plan into play so that we can continue to be happy. That's all I got for today. Thank you all so much for joining me on this journey. Like, comment, subscribe, share. I'm not asking you to buy anything. I'm not asking you to purchase anything. All I'm asking you to do is share this video. You see it, you like it, share it. It may not benefit you, it may not be something that you can relate to right now, but I guarantee there is somebody in your life that can relate to this. There's somebody in your life that's just like, you know what? I do want to be happy. I think that is the first step to doing so, figuring out what it is that'll make me happy and then going on and doing it. And not only that, there has to be somebody else in your life that wants to be friends with a wonderful, quirky girl like me. Share me. Stop being selfish and keeping me to yourself. Anyways, I love you guys so much. God bless you all. I am sending wonderful love, positive energy, and joy to you all on this day, on this moment, at this time. Praying that you get and have the desires of your heart. Until we meet further on up the journey, guys. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I love you all, and I will see you all next time.